YouTube Ozzico and the Godows is back with my updated NFL power rankings heading into week 14 of the season. Can't believe it's already week 14, but we are here every Tuesday morning with these power rankings. We also have weekly content for the NFL. A recent mock draft just went up as well, so check that out. Almost at 100K subs. Appreciate you guys very much, but like, subscribe, turn notifications on, then we much appreciated. Follow us on Twitter, a lot going on there. Sponsors, Liquid IV, GLD Shop, code GOAT. Giveaway for the GLD shop. They have jewelry. Links pinned in the comments for all that. To the power rankings, Panthers remain at 32. They had I feel like I keep saying it. Like here's a good opportunity to get Bryce Young going, maybe win a game, and I guess in a way they kind of got close, but tough go for the Panthers there, which was a decent opportunity. Patriots remain at 31. They didn't score against the Chargers. Commanders go down 2 spots, so they're in the bottom 3. I thought, nobody really expected them to win, but I thought that was a good opportunity for them to put offense together, because that's like kind of the only bright spot of this season so far, if there was one, was there some explosiveness on offense, but the lack of in this game, I thought they would have more offense. So they got, before it was like they couldn't get their offense or the defense on the same page at the same time. Now they got nothing going for them. So they're in the bottom 3. Jets at 29, another good defensive outing, not a good offensive outing. Cardinals go up 2 spots. They dominate the Steelers. Yes, Pickett got hurt, but felt like the Cardinals were going to win that game either way. See if they could put something consistent together. The Giants had a bye. They remain at 27. The Bears remain at 26. The Titans thought about moving them down. They did play. There was parts of the game where they played well. They just kind of had a meltdown on punt team. I was going to say special teams, specifically punt team. And then punter got hurt, so Tannehill had to hold. It looked like a clean hold, but they missed an extra point. So they played okay in this game. They just kind of had some meltdowns here and there, but they're going to stay put at. That's a tough loss. I mean, you can't lose that one. 24, Raiders run a bye. They end up moving down 1 spot just because the changes throughout this part of the power rankings. The Saints down 3. They just start so poorly. If they didn't start that poorly, they not only would have this win, but they probably have a few other ones as well. So at least another one. So they start so bad. They make so many mistakes. They're down 3 spots to 23. 22, the Bucs up 2 spots. Yeah, they beat the Panthers. But when you're this part of the rankings, you get a win, you're probably going to move up a little bit. But they did outplay the Panthers, even though the score really didn't show it. They outplayed them by a bit more than the score, perhaps. Chargers remain at 21. Good defensive outing again. They played the Patriots. Wasn't overly impressed. 20, the Bengals go up 2 spots. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with them. Thought about moving them up more, but then you do question, would they have won this game if Trevor Lawrence didn't get injured? But again, I was impressed. Jake Browning impressed me. He looked very solid. The touch on a lot of his passes, for the most part, looked pretty smart. I mean, the false starts, there was a 4th down early where he just took a sack. But other than that, there was just a few plays. And other than those, looked pretty solid. And the Bengals defense did their job in the right moments, even though they did give up some explosive plays. Jamar Chase, these weapons had a pretty big game. Joe Mixon. So they beat the Jaguars, who are a pretty good team. So the Bengals move up. They'll play the Colts this week. That's an interesting game. Falcons get, a win. Another win. They're heading in the right direction. Good defensive outing, just not enough to move them, up or down, obviously. Vikings run a bye. They move down 1 spot. They're trending the wrong way now as they were trending the right way not too long ago, but they will play the Raiders this week, so I guess a winnable game for each team. So big one. It's kind of a must-win for them. 17, Steelers go down 5 spots. Yeah, I know Pickett got hurt, but they just didn't look good on either side. Like, you expect the defense to look good. It did not look good. The offense, a lot of the same. Even when Pickett was in the goal line stand, I guess he came out for that 4th down, but they ran it. It's a lot of the same old Steelers shit that people were assuming was going to be fixed. And even the defense playing worse than, the same old stuff for the Steelers. So wasn't thrilled about that one. And that was in Pittsburgh and Steelers weather. I know there was a delay, but I don't know. That's just kind of a Steelers type game that they would normally win. So it's like a lot of the same, like the bad same, but then worse of like the same at the same time, if you know what I'm saying. 16, the Browns moved down quite a bit. They're really beat up, but they're we said that a few weeks ago, like, all right, they're getting beat up. We're not going to move them down a whole lot. time will decide, games will decide if they play like they're a beat-up team, and they kind of are. They put up a fight through a chunk of this game, but yeah, just not enough there. Like, are they particularly strong on? I mean, they're sneaky for a team that's beat up. They could definitely make the playoffs, but are they particularly strong on offense or defense right now? You'd say the defense maybe, but I don't know if I can fully trust either side of the ball right now. So that's really not helping them in the power rankings as they are getting on a losing streak here. Bills down a spot. Just because other teams had to move up. Broncos down a spot. Yeah, interesting outing from the Broncos. Like, I think I talked about in the recap. Like, I have like positive takeaways for them and negative. Like, they didn't get, like, they're used to winning and getting 3+ turnovers. They didn't get any turnovers. So does that mean you like can't win without getting those clutch turnovers? That's like not the best look, but they didn't, things didn't really go their way for the first time in a while, and they still were maybe a play or two from beating the Texans. So the Broncos will play you tough. They'll put up a fight. And they just lost, but they're still off a pretty good winning streak. So they didn't get hurt too much in these power rankings. Colts up 3 spots. Colts are finding ways to win. It's hard to fully buy into them being like a really good team or anything like that, like a playoff team. They might very well make the playoffs. But they're finding ways to win. I think they're well coached. They're pretty clutch, it seems. Both sides of the ball, it seems. So that was a big win for them. It was kind of a must win, I thought, going in. Like, you got to take care of business in these like games that they should, to make the playoffs. But yeah, they're finding ways, like I said. But will it keep up? They do have one of the easier schedules of football this year, so that you would think it could keep up. But the Bengals look a little tougher than expected going into this week. So we'll see. But they're up 3 spots, number 13. A team that maybe has been a little fortunate this year. The Seahawks down a spot, tough one too, because they keep losing, but they show me they're a pretty decent team. Like, for some weeks, like, the defense was playing outstanding, and this week the offense dominated the Cowboys. They played well enough to win this game. At the end of the day, they lost. They're going to go down a spot, but I was actually impressed with some things. Well, what I'm not impressed with is that the offense defense cannot be on the same page at the same time. I hate that because if they had the defense that they normally have, like, they won that game because the offense really showed out. So that's a tough part, but it just feels like they're a top 12 team right now, better than some other teams that, may be ahead of them when it comes to playoff time. 11, the Packers are going to go up a whopping 7 spots. They're as hot as anyone right now. Beating the Lions last week, beating the Chiefs this week. They look good. They look well prepared, well coached. Play calling's good. They look a lot more relaxed. Jordan Love specifically, he looks a lot better. The young weapons look better. A.J. Dillon looks better than earlier in the year. The offensive line looks better than earlier in the year. Defense a little tougher, playing a little faster, more physical. Even though they don't have everyone. They don't have Jair Alexander out there. They traded Rasul Douglas. They're beat up at the safety position. Jonathan Owens is starting, and he played well against the Lions last week. But they don't really have like their guys out there, so it's pretty crazy. So the Packers are up 7 spots. They'll play the Giants on Monday night. We got a Monday night doubleheader. Giants been playing pretty sneaky as well, especially on defense. So could that be a good game? We'll see. Hard to doubt the red-hot Green Bay Packers. Top 10, Rams are up 5 spots. They're playing really good football. What I don't love is, they kind of let the Browns stick around, but then they put them away at the end. The Rams, when they're healthy, they're good. They're sneaky. They're explosive. They can beat you on one play. That's what I love about the Rams. They're playing pretty well on both sides of the ball right now. I hope they stay healthy. It's one of those teams. Some teams were hoping they get healthy. Some of these teams, there's a few that you pop in your mind right away. I hope that team stays healthy. Ravens, Rams are up there as well because they're pretty good. And I think people kind of doubted them going in this year. I doubted them not because they're talented, because I doubted them to stay healthy. I hate saying that, or thinking that, but I hope they prove people wrong. I hope they stay healthy because they're even the way people are talking right now. It's like, I feel like I'm the only one going like, watch out for the freaking Rams if they're healthy because they're sneaky. They can coach, they can play. So, again, hopefully they can stay healthy and surprise people. Texans up a spot to number 9. They beat the Broncos, who are the hottest team in football. Got a little close. The way they started this game, looked like the Texans were going to blow them out of the water. Like they were going to dominate them, But that kind of slowed down a bit. So Tank Dell got hurt. The offense kind of, went south. They couldn't really do much. C.J. Stroud was getting pressured like crazy all of a sudden, getting sacked. So I don't know what happened there. They're going to have to try to figure out a way without Tank Dell the rest of the way. So I know the Broncos are playing pretty good defense, but the defense for the Texans really stepped up. really good. Some of the young studs, the first-year guys, second-year guys, and they beat a pretty solid team in the Broncos, so they're up a spot to number 9. On the top 8, just a weird game last night with the Jaguars. I think if Trevor Lawrence didn't get hurt, they would have won the game, but at the end of the day, they lost. They moved down 2 spots. On top of that, even with Trevor Lawrence, it was kind of 50-50, maybe 55-45, 60-40, whatever you want to put it. Like, they really shouldn't be that close with the Bengals without Joe Burrow. I don't think they were coached properly on defense in this game. Too much man coverage. When you're playing an inexperienced quarterback, I love running zone coverage. I think everybody should because it's a little. That's why college you see a lot of man coverage, mainly because they don't know how they can teach the kids zone coverage and they're trusting them. But NFL you see way more zone coverage. The reason for that, it's because you want to make the quarterback's job and the receiver's job harder to read the defenses. So inexperienced quarterback, you run zone coverage. I guess the thinking of it was, here's our opportunity to blitz and leave corners on an island because it's a bad thought. It's a bad thought, but at first it sounds okay. Here, this is what they were thinking was, here's our opportunity. We can blitz, leave corners on an island because we're playing what we think is a bad quarterback. And the problem with that is, one, I guess okay going into it, okay, but he was playing well, so switch it. But the Bengals receivers are so damn good, and they torch man coverage that's why it's stupid to run that. So I don't love the thinking. That's definitely what the thinking was. So I think they were very poorly coached. And of course the corners shouldn't get beat like that, but I mean, you're playing Jamar Chase. He's as good as anyone in football. And the Jags, as it is, aren't good at stopping running backs through the air. And man just makes it that much tougher, and they're capable of running zones. So I hated the way, the more I think about it too, I hated the way they were coached defensively. Offensively was fine. So that was a tough one, a game you really shouldn't lose, but Lawrence did go down. Beathard came in. He looked like he was hurt too, almost right away on the one he fumbled. But they're down 2 spots to 8. It's a little tricky in that part of the power rankings. So that's tough for the Jags with Trevor Lawrence. I don't think it's season ending, obviously, but that's tough for their playoff push, and they were getting hot again. 7, the Lions go up 1 spot. The Lions haven't been playing like the early season Lions, so in the back of my mind, still kind of wondering what's going on there. I love the way they started this game. They started hot, but they almost let the Saints come back. Like, if they would have lost that one, I would have been going, like, if you can't win that one, like, what are you going to win? Like, what's going to happen here? So, but they're very explosive. They looked a little bit more like themselves in this game. They won the game, so you're going to move up 1 spot to 7. They're probably staying put. If the Jags pulled that off, they were definitely staying put. So they got some help there. 6, the Chiefs down a spot. Yeah, disappointing outing. They didn't get some love from the refs at the end, but still, which they usually do, so that was weird. I guess a lot of the money was on the Chiefs maybe, but pretty disappointing. Defensively, the defense looked, I know they got beat up, but they looked a little lost. They weren't as physical as normal. Didn't really want to tackle. A lot of space in between players, ball catchers or ball carriers. So thought that was odd. It just doesn't feel like it's a very talented, good team. We very well could be talking about them in a Super Bowl still, but they just don't feel like they have that fire in their gut like they usually do. I think Patrick Mahomes does. I think Isaiah Pacheco does. I just don't get that feeling from the rest of the team that we usually get, It's a different feeling for me. So they're down. I still think they're a very dangerous team. They're down a spot to number 6. With a loss like that, you think maybe move them down more. The Lions aren't playing like themselves either, so it was tough. That was tough there. 5, the Dolphins up 2 spots. They're taking care of business. They look like maybe the best team in football right now. They're the second best team in football right now, but they're playing the weaker opponents. I want to see them do this against the better opponents. They'll play at home on Monday night against Tennessee, so that's really not it. But coming up, last 3 weeks, they will play some tough opponents. But they look good. They look fast, like usual. They look tough to stop. The defense seems to be getting better. So they're looking good right now, and that's what if you look good, you play well, you win, you're gonna move up in my power rankings. So you're up 2 spots, number 5. Cowboys gonna stay put at 4. They had a rough defensive outing, which was surprising, but offense was elite in this game, and they found a way to win against a tougher Seattle team. Cowboys, even when something's usually the offense and defense on the same page, and when they're not, they still find a way to win. The one part picks it up. I love that. It's kind of like it's a team that it ends up being pretty dangerous. So Cowboys are going to stay put at 4. Ravens are going to stay put at 3. They were on a bye. The Eagles are going to go down 1, and the Niners are going to go up 1 after that game. I mean, the Niners look like the best. The Eagles still have the best record, but the Niners look and feel like the best team in football. I mean, they're juggernauts right now. That's what I was saying. I said it like, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before. I don't even know what video it was in, either a recap or a power rankings video. I was saying, which team kind of gave me that, like, whoa feeling, like, okay, like this team is scary. Like, they'll punch you in the mouth. They'll make it hurt. Like, the Niners have been the team that's given me that feeling throughout this year, and most of it was before the 3-game losing streak that they gave it to me against the Jags. So even though the Eagles were first, like, maybe I said in the playoff predictions because I had the Niners winning the Super Bowl, but the Niners kind of gave me those vibes, and they did it in this game against the best team in football in Philadelphia. I mean, they sure did punch them in the mouth. They looked really good on both sides of the ball, fast, physical, mean, well-coached, well-prepared. Everything's well executed. That's the team to beat. That looks like if you're watching every team equally, if you're watching, that's the team. That's a team that, and again, the Dolphins and the Eagles look like it for most season. They kind of skate by some of those. The Ravens gave you those vibes at times. Again, the Cowboys are hard to trust in the playoffs, but again, they can win in multiple different ways. The Dolphins kind of give you those vibes where it's like, whoa, like, okay. But again, you want to see them do it against the better teams. So I do think the top 5 are the top 5 teams right now. I guess the tough part about that was the not too long ago, the Dolphins did lose to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs aren't playing as well right now. The Dolphins are playing better, so we'll see. But those are my power rankings heading into week 14. Our next video will be our weekly picks video, so excited about that as always. We have a recent mock draft off on the channel. We'll probably have some coaching candidates or coaching hot seat videos in the near future as well. We got you guys covered with all kinds of content here, not just here, but on our Twitter as well. Links pinned in the comments for anything you're looking for. It's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.